Hey, Adept, how's it going? Hi, Zelos. Not gonna lie, I will happily shovel out $50 to play Utopia again. I literally played that game on my 3DS for like 200 hours. At the very least, I definitely recommend the free demo. Because even if $50 is steep for the game for you, the demo's free. So you can at least get some enjoyment out of that for no cost. And then if you do decide to get it down the line, the save data will stay the same, I believe. It should, because, you know, that's just normal in this day and age, and the 3DS demo did that, so. Ooh! Ooh, Area of Sorrow. Isn't that... Ooh, don't tell me. That is a Castlevania game, right? At least it sounds like one. Oh god. It's fun getting back into comics. What do I think of the whole Balan Wonderland fiasco? I don't really know. It's just kind of like, huh. Let's see. Oh, a bonus app. I didn't even read that it was a bonus episode. That's fun. It's weird to like hear it called a fiasco because I've just heard that it was kind of meh. Or like the game was, and then everything else was like really cool. I'd rather take a meh game over a really frustrating game though. Because at least then you can like make your own fun with it, or at least have fun with the characters. Hello again, Aqua. Okay. I'm gonna try to make this. It's a tiny little full body of this girl, but it'll be a good ref for future comics because she's the main character. And then having a full body little thing of her is gonna be good. Oh, you actually played Rune Factory 4. Nice. It is always extra nice to know the game that's getting covered. I do my best to make them entertaining for everybody. Fortunately, the art that I was able to find is not the hugest, so some of the details are a little like blurred. Ooh, Rune Factory Frontier on the Wii. I'm not really that accurate with costumes anyway. I guess it's not a huge deal. It's like a pink cravat and then like normal cravat. Micromanaging, yeah. Rune Factory is one of those games that, like, on the surface, I feel like it would just absolutely be my jam, but something never quite clicks with me, and I don't know why, and it makes me sad. Like, I don't, I literally don't know. I just look and I'm like, so many of these aspects are, like, just mwah, like things that are totally me. And then I'm just like, eh. Am I using a stylus or a mouse? I am using a tablet, specifically a Wacom Intuos. Yeah, and it's also very long, Aqua. You have a very good point. Ooh, my eraser is very big. Big Nails asks, is there anything that still scares you? Deskinning? I don't know what that is. Yeah, I think what you're saying, Aqua, might be what it is for me. I like having a little bit of progression or something. Or how do I... I'm having trouble thinking of the wording for it, because, like, the Harvest Moon games don't have, like, you know, the traditional progressing. That's fine. Or, like, Animal Crossing. But it's like, I guess in the Rune Factory games, it's like, oh, there's a story there, but then half the time I'm like, I don't know how I'm supposed to... Or, I don't know, I really don't know how to fully describe it. I do have a little bit written down for, like, a discussion video. Okay, I can't forget this part. It's very important. But I can't tell when I'm supposed to tackle the dungeons or when I'm supposed to go out and find the dungeons. Or if I'm going to find... Yeah. Also, it might just be me, but the, in the Harvest Moon games, all of them, not just the Rune Factory ones, it's so... To me, it's so nerve-wracking how fast the days go. Like, it's just a bit too fast. Big Nails asks, am I a coffee person? I'm a person. But to actually answer your question, no. I don't like coffee. I'll just leave this sort of blankish. This specific drawing is probably going to take a little bit longer, because this is my rough drawing, basically. So I'm making sure that it's going to be easy to replicate myself in the future. You know, easy shapes, stuff like that, so. It's also the first time I'm drawing her, so. I've always wanted to, like, get into tea, but it's just too bitter for me. I like water and milk and juice. Yeah, and, like, I like time management to a certain degree, like in Pikmin, it's really fun to, like, think about that. But I feel like for the Harvest Moon games, there's, like, too much to think about. Meanwhile, with Pikmin, it's like, okay, don't let people die, and then, you know, gather this thing, you know? I feel like the Harvest Moon games might benefit a bit from, like, the days being a bit longer, maybe? I don't know, though. Because if you were able to, like, kind of freely explore, and then, I don't know, end the day when you wanted, or something, I feel like I'd be so much more into it. Yeah, exactly, Aqua. There's so many different objectives that it's just like, nah. And even though they're all objectives I like, it's just, you know, I feel like I can't sort of, I know it's the whole thing of management, but I like tackling things kind of one at a time. Also, the proportions on this are going to be so weird. Okay, I'll make her legs cheapy. And then like extra cheap or something. Also, this game specifically, you're gonna see as the comics come out. I don't know how to feel about some of the like choices. This game, Rune Factory 4, specifically, it feels like it is both like taking itself too seriously, but also not taking itself seriously. It is the weirdest feeling. I don't know how to feel about it. Also, just some of the decisions, at least early game, are like, pardon me? Like, what? What are you doing? I messed up his legs. But yeah, you're gonna see a lot of those moments in the early comics because the first session, me and my roommate were both kind of, well, I was playing and then she was watching. And we were both like, what? What is happening? Do this, that. Boot. I'm like debating how much I want to talk about the Rune Factory 4 stuff because I'll have comics coming out about it. So I don't want to like spoil the comics, but at the same time, like it's on topic. It's what I'm working on right now. So okay. She's got like bows. Actually, since I'm drawing her, I guess I'll talk about that. What is what is this design? Like, it's not awful or anything, but it's like, what is happening? There's so much happening in this design. Yeah. Oh, Aqua says, okay, here's a question about Rune Factory 4. You pick the female main character option. Do I always do that in games? Most often, yes. Just because, like, cute girl. Unless the guy's design is really nice, then sometimes I'll do that. But it's almost always the girl, yeah. Because they're usually cuter. And if I'm going to be looking at my character, I want them to be cute. I think Rune Factory 4, like the special one for the Switch, it was a port or a remake from the 3DS, right? I believe so. The only reason I ask is because you can tell. There. What was my introduction to RPGs? Paper Mario. Made for it, yeah. I'll just say, main character's model, at the very least, does not look the greatest. And I get it. It was like, on the 3DS first, and then upscaled, but oof. It's a little, almost made the joke. Who's gonna want to marry me when I look like that? But no. I have 3 different answers to that question. Ooh. Oh, but the first RPG. Interesting, interesting. Do. Oh god, I love making funny faces. Let's see. Oh yeah, she's got gloves on, doesn't she? Yes, she does. Okay. I should start with this side, because all the other fingers are going to be behind it. So. So Aqua says, the first RPG I saw was my cousin playing Final Fantasy X on PS2. First RPG I played was Paper Mario Thousand Door on McDonald's GameCube station. Oh. Man. I remember those. Not specifically the McDonald's one, but like, you know, you go to Walmart and there'd be like a thing. And the first RPG I played on my own and beat was Mega Man X Command. Ooh, interesting. Yeah, man, it was definitely Paper Mario for me. At least the one that I remember. I used to rent it from the theater all the time. I eventually made it my goal to beat it in like one rent session, and I did. Sonic Heroes. Sonic Heroes. It's the only way I've ever played that game. I'm so used to characters having like the sideburns that when they don't, it's like, oh. Is this like what kind of color is that? I really can't tell. I'm pretty excited for these Rune Factory comics. I think there's quite a few fun ones in there. Any cool toys from my childhood, like that I still have, or? Because if it still have, I think none. At least on me right now. That were popular? I didn't really do the toy thing. I mostly went for games or drawing. I was a boring kid. Any old games no one talks about? Here's one, I guess. Milo's Astrolanes for the 64. And 64, I mean. Okay. I'm gonna make the copy panel. Okay. I think it was like the sky. Or at least I'll make it this guy. Oh god. can't see. There we go. Did I think Y2K was going to happen? I wasn't really old enough to know or hear about that. Or care. I mean, if you mean the year 2000, then yes, it did happen. Cloud in the sky. That's not in my copy panel. I forgot to put it in. I'm getting a little off topic there. Let's try to keep things a bit more close to video games or Rune Factory, please. That was a problem. It didn't make sense to my young brain. Sorry, the way your message was awkward. Back to video games and Rune Factory. I know what you meant, and that's what I said too. How much did I play of Rune Factory for? I got, oh god, how far did I get? There's like a water dungeon. I did that one, and then I stopped there because I couldn't really get into it. And the only reason I got that far is because I looked up a guide. Because I liked the dungeon and like story stuff, but I couldn't like figure out how to do it on my own, or like it was just taking too long. So I was like, okay, just gonna. I made sure not to like scroll too far and spoil myself, but yeah. Who were my favorite characters? Says she likes story. Basically forgets what was happening. Okay, maybe I'll rephrase that. I liked going into dungeons, and more dungeons opened, the more story you went. Let's see. There was a guy named Doug. He was pretty cool. He saved me from some monsters. I almost said I didn't like heal, but it's nothing about his character or anything. It's just the fact that he is a child and a bachelor. And I'm like, okay, stay away from me, please. As you can probably guess, that will be a comic topic. Big Nail says, what makes a side question interesting to you? I'm assuming you mean side quests? In terms of side quests, I don't know. Just a little bit of a story to it can make it interesting. Or if you get costumes. That's a big, awesome reward to me. I like costumes. Okay, so I'm just thinking about the character question again. I'm gonna be real. Dragon here, not the hugest fan. And like they're fine, and I get what they were like going for, but it like rubbed me the wrong way. was like, why you being all familiar with me, but also being like rude? I don't even know you. Unless I do. I didn't get that far in the story, so I don't know, maybe they do know me. I have no idea what these choice boxes look like in the game. Just trying to make them look like something. And sure, I write these. Just turn this off for a second. We're flying high. Goodness, we're so high. If I ever get more quiet while I'm doing dialogue, the reason is that I don't want to accidentally write the words that I'm saying rather than the words that are supposed to be there. Because that will happen and has happened before. Okay. Oh no! Why'd you have to move a desk? Actually, I should move my desk. I kind of want to put it in a different spot. Repainting some walls. Or repainting some walls. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Panel. Do, 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 do. That there. I'll add a question mark. Okay, and then I gotta add the little flare that's like, chose this one. Ooh, actually, maybe. The top one, yeah. Oh no, but I didn't put the words on a different one. Oh no. 70. There, okay. That'll help. Oops. Shoot. Now there's white clouds there. What have I done? No. Maybe I'll do pink? So that if it's on the clouds. Oh, that doesn't look great. Just do the blue. How many am I planning? So we've got this month's worth, which is about, I think it's 14 for this month. But I think there'd be 10 or so left after that. So there is about a month's worth left. I might have to think of a couple more to make sure that it would be a full month, but yeah. Like 2 months worth. Because like I said, I didn't get very far, fortunately. I feel like that often happens with me for the Harvest Moon games. And like the first Rune Factory as well. Which again makes me sad because like conceptually speaking, there's so much in there that I like really like. Like some of the level up systems, like the cooking, the concept of like it all being there. But I think the fact that you can't really take it at your own pace is what kills it for me. If you could, though, oh. Oh. Let's see if I do a not white background, yellow background. How do I feel about Twinsink's decision to stop making Ruby content? As Hawkwa, sorry. Hawkwa. Been reading too much Roy Golly knows. As Hawkwa says, it's a little unrelated to, like, things. Like, it's nice to have conversations, but it's kind of unrelated to anything that's going on right now. Like, if I were doing a Ruby comic, that would be more related. Okay, so this doesn't need to be in there anymore. And it doesn't need to be multiplied. So, no. And then I could turn off the copy one, because I need to put the white in here. Oh no, I don't. Do you understand? Do you understand now why my reaction is like, What do I think about Kyrgyzstan? Should I know what that is? Am I a bad fan? Is that something that was early on in this game? And I just forgot. Oh. I saved. Oh. Okay. I was wondering if you were joking, Aqua, but I wasn't sure. I'm very bad with names, so I err on the side of caution that I am just forgetting. Oh, well, see you, Adept. I'm glad that I could show you the interesting choice the game made for this part. Also, I was right. Majority question of the affairs. You want to play Rune Factory? What should you play first? Probably, honestly, 4 might be a good one to jump into, just because it's quite available right now with the new one. Like, it just came out for Switch and stuff, because it's got, like, the port or remake or whatever it is. Because the other ones, like the first one and 2 and yada yada, they might be hard to get right now. I do know the 5th one's coming out. And I'm pretty sure they're all kind of, like, unrelated, so you don't need to worry about, like, oh, it's the 4th one. What if I miss something? I don't think, as far as I know, I'm not an expert. Games vary between more chibi and full picture art styles for the character models. Yeah, I like the portrait art. It's very cute. is. And I think we might get time to start the next comic, which is related to something design-wise. It's one of those things that I'm almost like, should I make a comic on this? And not for like, oh, it's this topic or whatever. It's mostly that it's such a small thing. I'm like, does anybody even care? But I care. So. Yeah, no, the first choice in the game, I don't think it's word for word these, but it's like, we're flying high, or goodness, we're so high up. Like, it's the same-ish thing, but, like, worded differently. And both me and my roommate are like, what? So, but actually before we chose a choice, I went, oh my god, is this like the are you a boy or a girl choice? And then I picked one, and it was, and I was like, why? Like, on the one hand, I'm like, you know, kudos for like trying something, but on the other hand, it's like they're the player avatar. Like, not much is changing. Okay, well, who you marry and stuff is changing, but like, they're not characters. They're basically avatars for you, or like, I don't know. I guess they kind of have characters. It's a weird one with this game because like they do talk and do their own things, but they also still feel blank slatey. So I'm like, why are you hiding which one we're gonna be behind a weird like word choice? The pronouns in the Japanese version. Yeah, I guess that does make sense. Oh, pity to whatever translator was like, oh god, how do I do this? I'm flying high, baby. I remember me and my roommate said, we're like, only girls can say goodness. In that case, like, for trying to translate that, I would say that's a decent effort. But, yeah, to me, I'm just like, do. Let's do this color. Oh, and that back one is actually, it's also the pink. Yeah, that's a good idea, Aqua. To have it mention the clothing instead. Because, like, if you have the game, you see the cover art, which has the two versions of the main characters. So if it's like, oh my god, my skirt's blowing in the wind. Though I guess somebody could take that as like, this is, what's the name of that lady that is in that picture with the oh no, my skirt. They're doing whatever that is. See, that was the name that first popped into my head, but I am very bad with names, like I said, so I didn't want to, like, embarrass myself by saying the wrong name. But yeah, I think I had mentioned it before, but the color palette choice for these main characters was very interesting. we go. Oh, I meant more so that it's like in anime or JRPGs, candy shots or things. I actually think just mentioning the clothing is, because, like I said, you don't want to make it seem like only girls can wear skirts. But as you see on the front of the box, it's the appearance of the characters. So it's basically like, oh, this one has the skirt, so do I want to be this one or the other one? But I guess they might automatically do the pronouns. Those things are works in progress, let's just say. I did like the approach Animal Crossing has started to take with it. Oh yeah, long hair in the wind. That would be another. Which is, you know what? As somebody with long hair, that is definitely something that would be like, oh god. My hair is everywhere. Please help me. My OBS is saying there's only 2 people, or 0 people here, which I'm pretty sure that is supposed to include me. Why you always lying? Just saved. Thank you, Aqua. Yeah, Aqua makes a good point for that question. In games or in real life, because I do have different answers, I would say. Oh, and I just got white gloves. Do. Little faces like this. Not that dark. And the eyes. I just gotta do a little bit of the background, and this one will be done. Yay! Do you hate it when games make you look like a Dumbo wearing the best equipment? I don't care too much unless it is specifically sexualized stuff. And more specifically for females. Like, obviously, it can still be uncomfortable for guys. But girls tend to get it worse. Xenoblade is one of those games that does that. Oh, Charlotte. Poor Charlotte. If it's more silly, then I'm usually down for it. Speaking of fashion stuff, Metopia. Metopia is actually really awesome. It'll let you have like the good equipment, but choose how you want to look. Ooh, her thing is the same color as that background. Oh my gosh, can you imagine? I almost said, can you imagine changing sprites? But for the story thing, I want to write for the visual novel stuff, I'm thinking of doing changing sprites. Except the way that they have it implemented is actually pretty easy. It's just the drawing part. Like actually doing it. There we go. Nice. I finished the first one. Yay. And honestly, the second one's pretty short, I think. So I'll at least be able to start that one. Okay, I will keep this open though, because it has my version of the main character. I didn't even need the blimp. You can't wear certain equipment until your bravery status. I can't go out in public like this. What'll it do to my image? Okay. I know what the joke for this next one is. But I need to think of how it's gonna be. Okay. Oh, I forgot these were both in the same one. Let's see. This might be a 6 one, actually. I thought it'd be really short, but then I forgot about the other part. It'd be good to have beats in it. Okay. Make sure I save it before I save over the comic template. This one is about what I named the main character. So I really wanted to do a funny, silly name. I mean, a decent number of my comics are about this dragon, and I'm not really looking forward to drawing it a bunch of times. Like fur there. Okay, that's good enough. I don't know if it's necessarily the toughest to draw, because it is a sort of simplified style. It's very busy though. Like the first time I saw it, I was like, okay. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I was just thinking about how I'm gonna do this comic again, and I forgot to talk. Ooh. Oh, you're right. I don't like that. I do not like that. Also, can I just say, this dragon has one of those things where like you try to Google a ref on Google, and just like immediately it's like spoilers, and it's just like, oh, come on. So of course I don't know, maybe that's like way later or way earlier in the game than I thought. She's got claw hands on top. Wait. Oh, wait. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't know what the designers were doing for this game. I feel like one of the punchlines is very much going to be extremely obvious. Like, even without a speech bubble, you know what she's saying here. Okay. Gotta move that up a bit. Yeah, you know, my not disdain, but not even like dislike or anything, but my eh-ness towards the dragon isn't exactly helped by the fact that the design isn't really great. In my opinion. I feel like it's close to something I would like, because like I like the colors, I think. But it's like it's too much. Yeah, I guess apathy. Minor frustration sometimes. I can't get at a point in the area where she's supposed to be pointing. So her eyes aren't actually looking where it's supposed to be. Maybe I did this shoulder wrong. Oh yeah, no, I think that'll fix it. Here we go. I'll draw the hand first. There we go. There. How do I feel about gardening in real life, as opposed to in Rune Factory? I'm assuming. I've never really done it myself, but I do like the concept a lot. I feel like if I got my life in order, which slowly I'm getting there. I made some pre-prep meals today, which is nice. I feel like that'd be something I'd like to do. I feel like drawing this dragon emoting is going to be very tough. Just because it's like kind of hard to tell where the eyes start. Oh, we're just about at time. Oh yeah, the game's... I just remembered it's starting you off as an amnesiac. Which was a part of, like, why the dragon kind of got on me. They put so much on you, and you don't remember anything. Actually, like, everybody does. They were like, hey, can you do this for me? And the entire time I'm like, I am trying to remember who I am. Can Can we try to do that first? Oh, I'm debating on if I want to... I guess I should put the words in first so I don't forget it. You guys ready? You're gonna see what I named this character. Am I good at making jokes real time? A lot of people do laugh at what I say, and I have been told, oh my gosh, you're so fun. So, I suppose so. There it is. My beautiful, beautiful name. Yeah, it kind of confused me why I was like, oh, you got the... That's my guess. Oh, I guess it's lagging a little bit. No. That's a cute name, though. Mine's more silly. I don't know where I'm going to put it, but oh well, I can move it. Yes. Toast. I have a question. I will admit this certain one doesn't have like through line, but I didn't know where else to put this certain observation. How is he supposed to react to that question? Oh boy. I don't even know how this one will be like received. It'll be like, I don't know, where's the punchline? There is no punchline. I am just not enough time to answer a question to browse that. You think I know you put on that this morning? I have to get my memory back so I can figure out what this is. Well, got 1.5 comics done today. So that's at least something. Also, man, we have way more viewers than the 0 my streaming thing is telling me. Hello, everybody. Yeah, that's a good head start, I would say, on the May ones. I almost wonder if I should do more comic streams to make sure that I, finish stuff more. But I don't want to, spoil stuff too much, you know? I guess I could do, the without words ones if I felt like I was running lower on time. And then that way you would just have to, guess. But it would still be a decent amount of work done. Yeah, it's always nice to be able to stream again. Yes, it is saved. But yeah, I guess I will see you guys next week. So it's good to see you guys here. And, I'm not sure what we'll do next week for sure. I think I have a plan, but I don't remember it right now. So, You guys have a good day. Bye.